Hey, thanks for jumping into Speedy Sunday today. I'm so glad you decided to put those earbuds in. Hey, champions, welcome into Speedy Sunday. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I want you to embrace a stress mindset. You heard me correctly. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? What does that even mean? Here's what I want you to think about. We're going to acknowledge the stress. You're going to welcome the stress in. And then you are going to use this stress to your advantage. I know this sounds strange because everywhere, your entire life, people have been telling you stress is so horrible. How are we going to get rid of stress? It is causing all of these horrible things inside your body. People are so stressed. I don't disagree. Those things are happening. I am not saying to stop doing the stress relieving activities. I use them all the time. I teach them to you. I'm also teaching you how to navigate through. And I want you to be aware that there's a lot of research in some really famous places, University of Penn, Harvard, different places are studying and have studied in the past stress mindset. What do I want you to do with this? First, let's acknowledge it. Right now, I want you to think of something in your sport, your child's sport, your whole team sport. What is causing you stress right now? And it's something that you want to change. Or think of that athlete, maybe something they want to change. What is the typical response to whatever that stressful thing is for you? What is the emotional responses you're having to it? Are you upset, nervous, sad? What is the behavioral response? Maybe your kid's throwing sports equipment around. They're kicking the bleachers. They're stomping their feet. They're having poor body language. What is the physiological response? That's the third part for the response. This is the actual inside the body. For the physiological piece, maybe your heart is racing, feel like you can't breathe. What is happening inside their body? This awareness and reflecting on it is going to allow the athlete to decide how they respond to the stress. Because if you don't acknowledge and have this stress mindset, you're not navigating through it the best way possible. Are you catching on why I want you to have this stress mindset? Acknowledging how important is this, right? We have to figure out how we're going to respond to it. If we don't acknowledge it, how can we do that? What you do next matters most, right? It is not the mistake. It is not the failure. It is not the setback. What you do next matters most. And if you don't acknowledge the stress, what it's doing emotionally, behaviorally, physiologically, you cannot figure out how to navigate through. Now, I want you to welcome it in. This seems really strange, but I want you to think that if you welcome in something that might be stressful and think, this is a privilege, you will have a more positive approach. The athlete, your team will have a more positive approach. It doesn't get rid of the issues, but when you can flip it and see sport as a privilege, or I get to go to practice instead of I have to, it is a game changer. It's going to take some time, but you need to welcome it in. The next part with welcoming the stress is behind everything that is stressing your athlete out, it has meaning. Think about this for you. If your kid was doing poorly on a test in their sport, it's upsetting you, right? Because you love that athlete of yours. When they're stressed about not being good enough, am I going to make the team? It has meaning. They need to embrace this stress mindset. And when they understand why they're feeling this way, that it has meaning for them, then we can deal with how are we going to navigate through. I want them to complete this sentence right now. I am stressed about this because I care about, and you can even say, why is it important to me? This situation, this game, this practice, this tryout, being a part of this team, how the coach views me. I am stressed about this because I care about, have them complete that sentence. With all of that being said, I want you to be aware that I don't want you to chase stress. Sometimes people get confused when I talk about this. You're not looking for stress, right? What the stress mindset is telling you is it's not all bad. By changing your mindset about stress, you change how the stress impacts you as the athlete. So don't go out there saying, I need more stress in my life. And I am also aware that using this stress to your advantage, this isn't true for everything. If it's unsafe in this stressful situation, if you're in a really toxic place in sports, in life, in work, get out of that like yesterday. Okay. I'm talking about maybe these things that come and go, or it could be a continuous thing. But of course, you have to evaluate the level of stress and whatnot. If you have any questions about that, send me a message and I will happily chat with you about that. Thanks for tapping in today to Speedy Sunday. I hope this helps you and your athletes. I'm rooting for you always. Go crush your week. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Whether you are going to coach, teach, cheer from the stands, or hit the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show because we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and some sanity in our busy lives. Go unleash that champion within you, one step at a time. I'm rooting for you always.